Picture someone sitting at a dinner table, laughing at a story someone just told. Really laughing, the kind that makes their whole face move. And for a second, it looks completely simple. Just a person, just a moment, just joy. But if you watch a little longer, you notice something. Between the laughter and the next sentence, there's this almost invisible pause, a quick scan of the room, a tiny recalibration, as if even happiness requires a brief security check before it's allowed to stay. That pause is not an accident. It's a history. There's a particular kind of person who has quietly become an expert at living, not thriving in the curated highlight reel sense, living in the original sense, surviving seasons that weren't kind, adjusting to conditions that shifted without warning, and continuing anyway. What happens to a person like that is genuinely fascinating, because the changes that get made are not visible. They don't show up on the surface. They show up in the way someone moves through an ordinary afternoon. These people carry what you might call an internal weather report, a low, constant awareness of atmosphere, not just the air outside, but the emotional climate of every room they enter. They feel it when someone's tone tightens by a single degree. They sense when a conversation is drifting towards something difficult, 3 exchanges before it gets there. This is not mystical intuition. It's pattern recognition, built slowly over years of needing to read situations accurately, because accuracy, at some point in their life, mattered in a very immediate way. And here's where it gets genuinely interesting. That same attunement, the one that cost them so much to develop, often produces something unexpected, a deep and almost disorienting capacity for empathy. People who've carried real weight tend to recognize it in others almost immediately. They don't need someone to spell out that they're struggling. They already know. They see it in the way someone laughs just a beat too quickly or goes quiet in a room full of noise. And rather than looking away, they lean in, quietly, without making it a whole thing, because they remember, with real clarity, what it felt like when no one noticed at all. This is connected to something researchers have observed over time. The idea that some people, after living through genuine difficulty, don't simply return to who they were before. They come back changed in ways that are, in certain specific respects, deeper. Priorities that once felt abstract become concrete. Relationships feel more worth protecting. Small moments of ordinary life start to carry actual weight. This isn't a silver lining argument. The hard thing was still hard, and no one should have to earn wisdom through pain. But it's real. Some people emerge from what they survived with a more precise understanding of what matters and why. What doesn't get talked about enough, though, is the cost of all that awareness. When you have spent years with your internal system running on high alert, it does not simply power down because circumstances have improved. There's a persistent readiness that lingers, a difficulty settling fully into calm, a quiet sense of always keeping one hand near the emotional emergency exit. It looks composed from the outside. It is genuinely exhausting from the inside. They'll tell you they're resting while mentally preparing for things that haven't happened yet and may never happen at all. The humor, when it arrives, is its own kind of language. There's a specific type of joke that only someone who has been through something real can make. Not mean, not cheap, but precise in a way that catches you off guard. It takes the unbearable and makes it feel slightly absurd. And laughing at the weight of something is not the same as pretending it isn't heavy. It's more like finding a way to carry it differently. Each well-placed joke is a small, quiet statement. This happened, it didn't finish me, and somehow that's almost worth smiling about. What complicates all of this is how they love. People shaped by hard experiences often become some of the most fiercely present people in someone else's life. They show up. They remember. They notice things others forget to notice. And yet, when the attention turns toward them, when someone asks how they actually are, something pulls back. Not coldness, more like a house that knows exactly where every floorboard creaks and has learned to step around them out of habit. Needing people has, at some point, come with a price they are still quietly paying, so they give generously and receive carefully. And they aren't always sure how to explain that imbalance to the people they love most. What they carry in abundance, though, is adaptability. Change that stops other people in their tracks is, for them, familiar ground. They've already lived inside uncertainty. They know it's survivable, new circumstances, collapsed plans, unexpected endings. They adjust, not without feeling it, but without being stopped by it. And yet, underneath all of it, the capability, the humor, the loyalty, the quiet strength, there is a loss that rarely gets named out loud. Not a dramatic loss, just a persistent one, a grief for the version of themselves that existed before they learned all of this. The one who walked into rooms without calculating the exits. Who let good news simply land, without immediately bracing for it to be taken away. Who moved through the world without the low hum of readiness running underneath everything. That version didn't make it through completely intact, And in small private moments, they miss them. But that grief doesn't consume them. It becomes something they build from. The relationships they choose carry more intention. The peace they protect carries more purpose. The joy they allow themselves carries more meaning, because they know from experience that it was never guaranteed. If something in this video feels true to you, subscribe. These are the kinds of conversations I want to keep having here. And the next video is one I think you'll want to sit with too.